He was 72 years old, alone in his bedroom at dawn, when his morning routine took a devastating turn. He had done it countless times before, just a quiet release to start the day, nothing unusual. But this time, something shifted. His heart pounded like a war drum, his vision clouded over, and within moments he collapsed. By the time help arrived, it was too late. What ended his life wasn't the act itself, it was the way he did it and the moment he chose. I'm Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist who spent over 30 years guiding older men through the delicate balance between aging, sexuality, and health. And today I want to talk about a secret that's hiding in plain sight, one that every man deserves to know. Here's the truth: self-pleasure isn't the enemy. But 4 mistakes, especially when they happen first thing in the morning, can silently undermine your circulation, strain your nerves, and even risk your heart. Most men don't even realize the quiet harm they're doing. Imagine discovering that the simple act you've always thought of as harmless could be the very thing quietly chipping away at your vitality. That's why I'm here to bring you the knowledge, compassion, and solutions you need to protect not just your health, but your dignity as a man. So before we dive in, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Type your city or state in the comments below. If this message feels like it's for you, or if it makes you think of a friend who might need to hear it, please give this video a like, share it, and hit that subscribe button. I promise every week I'll bring you gentle, life-changing advice crafted just for you. Let's begin. As we grow older, our bodies undergo changes that few of us ever anticipated, especially when it comes to the early hours of the day. After 60, our blood vessels naturally lose some of their elasticity, making circulation more sluggish. Hormone levels, particularly testosterone, fluctuate more unpredictably than ever, leaving us feeling less energized and more vulnerable. Even the nervous system, once so quick to respond, now requires extra care and attention. But there's something about the morning that makes these shifts even more critical. After a night of rest, our bodies often wake up dehydrated. Our blood sugar can be lower than usual, making us feel lightheaded or shaky. This is the time when the heart and brain are readjusting from hours of sleep, and any sudden changes like an increase in heart rate or a drop in blood pressure can have a far greater impact than they did when we were younger. That's why what we do in those first moments of the day matters so much. A simple habit that once seemed harmless can now quietly strain our cardiovascular system or disrupt our hormones in ways we never imagined. Dr. Michael, who spent decades helping older men navigate the intersection of health and sexuality, has seen these challenges unfold time and again. And today he wants to share the 4 most common mistakes older men make in the morning. Mistakes that left unaddressed can slowly chip away at your strength, confidence, and even your heart health. These aren't lessons you'll often hear from your doctor or read in a pamphlet. They're the real lived experiences of thousands of men who thought they were doing everything right, only to discover that small missteps were quietly undermining their health. So stick with us, because in just a moment, we're going to reveal the truth and the simple steps you can take to protect your body and reclaim your vitality one morning at a time. Imagine this: it's 6:00 a.m. and you're alone in your bedroom. You've barely opened your eyes and the house is still and quiet. Like so many mornings before you reach for a moment of relief, something that's been part of your routine for years. You haven't had a sip of water, no breakfast, not even a stretch. You tell yourself it's no big deal, just a quick way to start the day. But what you might not realize is that this habit, so small and familiar, could be quietly putting your health at risk. I've seen it countless times in my practice. Men who assume that their bodies are the same as they were at 40, only to discover that everything changes after 60. Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist with over 30 years of experience, explains why. First thing in the morning, he says, your body is like an engine that's been sitting idle all night. It's cold, low on fluids, and not yet ready to handle stress. During sleep, we naturally lose water through breathing and perspiration. Our blood becomes slightly thicker and circulation slows. Combine that with lower blood sugar levels common in the early hours, and you've got a recipe for potential trouble. When you jump straight into sexual stimulation, your heart rate spikes and blood vessels constrict rapidly. Blood that your brain and heart desperately need gets pulled toward the pelvis instead. For some men, this means a dizzy spell or a pounding heart. For others, the consequences can be far more serious, like a sudden drop in blood pressure, fainting, or in rare but real cases, even a minor stroke. One of Dr. Michael's patients, a 69-year-old man in otherwise good health, once described blacking out in the shower after an early morning climax. "I thought I was having a panic attack," he said, "but it turned out to be a transient ischemic attack, a warning stroke." The solution is simpler than you might think, and it starts with respecting the body that's carried you this far. Before engaging in any kind of sexual activity, give yourself the gift of preparation. Drink a glass of water. Eat a small balanced snack, even something as simple as a piece of fruit or a handful of nuts. Spend a few minutes stretching or walking around the room to get your blood flowing. These small acts of self-care can make a world of difference, transforming a potentially risky habit into a safer, more satisfying experience. Remember, after 60, it's not about giving up pleasure. It's about making sure your body's ready to enjoy it safely. You've earned that right. Let's treat your heart, your nerves, and your entire being with the respect they deserve. Let's talk about something that might hit closer to home than you'd like to admit. Picture this. You've just opened your eyes, the morning sun is barely peeking through the curtains, and before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. It's become a ritual, a way to jumpstart the day. But instead of reading the news or checking on the grandkids, you find yourself drawn to videos that promise instant excitement. Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist with decades of experience helping men navigate health and intimacy, has seen this scenario too many times to count. It's easy to slip into, he explains. The brain craves that rush of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that spikes every time you see something new and stimulating. But here's what most men don't realize: as we age, our brains become more sensitive to dopamine. That surge from watching adult content can overload the system in ways it never did when you were younger. Over time, that quick fix trains your brain to expect high-intensity stimulation, faster, harder, more. And what happens next? Real life starts to feel flat. The touch of a partner's hand might not spark the same thrill it used to. Intimacy with your wife or partner feels muted, like the volume's been turned down. It's not that the love is gone, it's that your brain has rewired itself to crave instant novelty instead of real connection. I've had men sit in my office, eyes downcast, voices cracking, as they confess they can't feel that spark with their wives anymore. "Doc," they say, "I still love her, but I can't get excited the way I used to." And the worst part, they never saw it coming. A simple morning habit that once seemed harmless has quietly robbed them of the very thing they wanted to protect: their ability to connect, to feel, to love. The good news: you can change this. It starts by replacing that habit with something that nourishes rather than drains. Instead of reaching for your phone, try playing a favorite piece of music or stepping outside for a breath of fresh air. A light stretch or a short walk can awaken your body and mind in a way that supports real, lasting intimacy. Your mornings set the tone for the entire day. Choose connection over instant gratification. Choose presence over pixels. You've spent a lifetime building bonds with people you love. Don't let a screen take that away. It's never too late to reclaim your mornings, and with them, the deep, meaningful connections that make life rich. Now let's talk about something that's easy to overlook, but can quietly chip away at your intimacy and your health posture. You might think posture is something only your physical therapist worries about, but believe me, it matters more than you know, especially when it comes to those private moments in the morning. Picture this: you're sitting on the edge of your bed, your shoulders hunched forward, legs drawn in just enough to keep your balance. It's quiet, maybe even comforting, like a habit you've had for years. But here's what most men don't realize: that very position might be setting you up for disappointment. "Doctor, Michael, who's been guiding men through sexual health challenges for over 30 years, explains why this seemingly innocent posture can turn into a silent enemy. When you hunch forward, he says you're compressing the blood vessels and nerves in the pelvic area. That's right, when you sit like that, you're actually cutting off the very blood flow that powers your pleasure and supports your overall sexual health. And the consequences don't always show up right away. At first, maybe it takes a little longer to feel the same excitement. Then maybe the sensation isn't as strong as it used to be. Before you know it, what was once a fulfilling experience leaves you feeling numb, disconnected, or frustrated. For some men, this can lead to delayed climax, reduced sensitivity, or even signs of erectile dysfunction. One of Dr. Michael's patients, a 70-year-old named Bill, shared how it snuck up on him. "Doc," he said, "it's like my body just stopped responding. I thought it was normal aging." But when they talked it through, it wasn't just age. It was how he was sitting morning after morning, slowly starving his body of the circulation it needed. The solution. It's easier than you think. Instead of sitting hunched over, try lying back comfortably. Place a pillow or small cushion under your hips to elevate your pelvis slightly, keeping your legs relaxed and open. This position promotes better blood flow, reduces pressure on the nerves, and lets your body enjoy the moment fully. Remember, your body has carried you through a lifetime of experiences. Give it the respect it deserves, even in these private moments. A simple adjustment in posture can transform your experience, helping you reconnect with your pleasure and your confidence. It's not about giving up what you enjoy. It's about giving yourself the chance to feel it more deeply, more fully, just like you deserve. Let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough. Something that too many men carry in silence: the guilt and shame that can follow after a private moment of self-pleasure. Maybe you felt it. Maybe it's that quiet voice that whispers you shouldn't have done that it's wrong, or that it makes you less of a man. Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist who spent decades working with men, just like you, sees it all the time. "Doc," they say, "I feel like I'm doing something dirty, like I'm letting myself down." And while that might sound like it's just in your head, the truth is, it goes deeper. When you let guilt take over, your body reacts with a surge of cortisol, the stress hormone that spikes when you feel shame or fear. Cortisol isn't just a mood killer, it's a health hazard, especially as we age. High cortisol levels can lower your testosterone, raise your blood pressure, sap your energy, and even cloud your memory. Over time, that guilt can weigh heavy, leaving you feeling drained, anxious, and disconnected. It's no wonder some men start to lose interest in intimacy altogether. They blame age, but sometimes it's the hidden shame that's quietly robbing them of desire. The more you judge yourself, the more your body tenses up, making it even harder to feel pleasure the next time. And the cycle continues, leaving you feeling trapped, alone, and unsure of where to turn. But here's the truth that Dr. Michael shares with every patient who walks through his door: self-pleasure is a natural, healthy part of being human, even as we age. It's not a weakness or a betrayal of your values. It's a way of staying connected to yourself, of honoring your body's needs, and of maintaining your health. Imagine what would happen if you gave yourself permission to enjoy that moment without judgment, to recognize it not as something to be hidden, but as something to be embraced as part of your well-being. Instead of shame, try compassion. Instead of guilt, try gratitude for the body that's carried you through so many seasons of life. Remember, every man deserves a chance to feel whole and alive, to connect with himself in a way that nourishes rather than tears him down. It's time to let go of the guilt. Give yourself the gift of acceptance, because your health, your happiness, and your sense of self-worth are too important to let shame stand in the way. You've earned the right to feel good in your own skin. Now let's embrace that truth together. Let's talk about timing, because sometimes it's not just what you do, but when you do it, that makes all the difference. Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist with decades of experience, helping older men like you often reminds his patients that our bodies run on rhythms, and understanding those rhythms can turn an ordinary habit into a source of real health and joy. You see, after 60, our hormone patterns change. Testosterone, that key hormone that fuels desire and confidence, doesn't stay at the same level all day. It naturally dips in the early morning hours, right when so many men reach for a quick release without thinking. But here's the secret. Most guys never hear that hormone starts to rise again later in the day, typically between 4 and 7 p.m. That's the sweet spot when your body is most prepared, hydrated, nourished, and steady. Why does this matter? Because timing your self-pleasure during this golden window can make the experience not just safer, but more rewarding. Circulation is stronger in the afternoon, giving your heart and blood vessels the support they need. Your mind is more relaxed, your body more comfortable, and you're less likely to feel that rushed, guilty feeling that sometimes comes with sneaking in a moment in the early hours. Dr. Michael recalls one patient, a 67-year-old named Paul. Paul had spent years starting his day with a quick fix, only to find himself exhausted, anxious, and even experiencing the occasional dizzy spell. "I just thought that's how it had to be," Paul admitted. But after a conversation with Dr. Michael, he decided to try moving his routine to the late afternoon. Just a simple shift in timing. Within weeks, Paul noticed he felt more in control, more connected to the experience with less stress and more satisfaction. "It's like I finally found a rhythm that works for me," he said with a smile. That's the kind of transformation Dr. Michael wants for every man. It's not about giving up what you enjoy. It's about choosing the moment that honors your health, your heart, and your sense of dignity. So here's your invitation experiment with this window from 4 to 7 p.m. Pour yourself a glass of water, enjoy a light snack, and settle into a comfortable space. Treat it like a time of self-care, a moment to connect with yourself in a way that nourishes, not depletes. You've earned the right to feel good in your own skin, and timing can make all the difference. Let's embrace this rhythm together. As we bring this conversation to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the 4 morning mistakes that too many older men make, often without even realizing the toll they're taking on their health and confidence. First, there's the rush to self-pleasure on an empty stomach, and without a sip of water, putting sudden strain on the heart and nervous system. Then there's the easy habit of reaching for your phone and diving into explicit content, rewiring your brain to crave novelty and undermining real intimacy. Third, there's the silent trap of posture hunched over, cutting off blood flow to the very place that needs it most. And finally, perhaps the most invisible of all the guilt and shame that too often follow raising stress hormones and leaving you feeling disconnected and diminished. Each of these habits may seem small on their own, but together they quietly erode your strength, your passion, and your connection to yourself and those you love. But here's the truth that Dr. Michael, a board-certified urologist who's dedicated his career to men's health, wants every man to hear your sexual health is just as important as your heart health or your bone health. It deserves care, attention, and respect. You are not weak for caring about your needs. In fact, you're showing the deepest respect for the body that has carried you through every chapter of life. By learning how to support your body by choosing the right time, the right posture, and the right mindset, you're not just preserving your health, you're reclaiming your sense of self-worth and dignity. So let's stand together as a community of men who refuse to settle for silence or shame. Share this video with a friend who might need to hear these words. Leave a comment below. Tell us your thoughts, your experiences, or even just that you're ready to start this journey. Because when we speak up, we lift each other up. Dr. Michael and I are grateful you've joined us today. Thank you for giving yourself the gift of knowledge and understanding. Remember, aging doesn't mean fading. It means growing wiser, stronger, and more connected to the person you've always been. If this message resonated with you, please take a moment to click that like button. Share it with a friend or loved one who might need this message today. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single update. We're here to support you week after week with more health tips and insights made just for men like you. Let's keep walking this path together. Because you deserve a life that's healthy, fulfilling, and vibrant in every way. Thank you for being here with us today. Let's embrace the years ahead with confidence, courage, and a heart that still beats strong.